Hello everyone, it's me, Mr. Sparkton here. Now, a few weeks ago, I happened to pick up this game known as Survivalcraft, a game made by Candy Rufus. Now, Survivalcraft is an open sandbox video game which was published on the 16th November 2011, mainly for some mobile players. It is a block-driven game where you are abandoned on your own by your fellow sailors. Every minute is to be considered a life or death challenge. The player will have to gradually learn the ways of survival and hone their skills. The goal of the game is to, of course, survive for as long as one possibly can. Throughout your journey, you'll encounter various wildlife, some docile, while the others are predators on the hunt. Now, nature thrives on the island, but there seems to be no sign of any human life forms. One can try to leave this island but will only be greeted by another unexplored one. Keep in mind, you are all alone. And forget about escaping, as in this cursed universe, the terrain is endless. This description alone does sound quite intriguing and had already lured me in. My hopes for this game were quite high and it did not entirely disappoint in my opinion. The game offered a lot more than what I had originally anticipated, which did in fact surprise me, as nowadays, let's be honest, a lot of Minecraft ripoffs do exist, and for people just discovering this game it will seem like quite a ripoff at first. But if they choose to give the game a chance, they may find it way more appealing. I would say that this game is very underrated. Now, during my research, I realized the lack of content being made around Survivalcraft. One of the most famous creators out there though would be Miner417 with his Cruel World gameplays and his 100 Days series. There are of course others such as Survivalist Gamer, RETG Gaming, King Kaya and Admiral Runeru. From what I've seen and concluded is that the videos made for Survivalcraft mainly involves around guides. There are indeed a lot of playlists, but are not as popular as the tutorial videos. And while researching around on Twitch, I noticed that there are absolutely no content involving Survivalcraft. So yeah, it didn't look too good, but from what I've gathered so far, I would say that this game is most probably dead. Either way, let me speak about my experience so far. Now, I have played this game since its demo, where you could not really sleep in the game until you bought the full game. And yeah, during these years, I've never been truly bored of this game. It did play quite a major role in my childhood, but coming back in these present days, I realized the lack of objective this game presented. From my time going through the bugs and challenges presented by this game, I slowly realized the missed opportunities Survivalcraft could have exploited to become as well known as games like Minecraft, Terraria, and Roblox. Obviously, it would have never surpassed Minecraft as it is now dominating the market of such games, but then again, it could have rivaled it. I'm not completely sure if it's a mutual agreement and experience for all of us in this modern age of gaming, but to me these games seem to have been published almost too uncompleted. I'm in no means insulting this game, but simply pointing out its flaws and lack of content. But yeah, please don't throw any hate in the comments, but if you do have something to share, comment down. I mean, I will be replying to most of them, and yeah, if you have something to say, just go on ahead. Now, while playing this game, I experienced quite a bit of odd criticisms. I would just be playing Survivalcraft at school, and most of my mates would come up to me and complain about how this game is copying Minecraft. And to this day, I still am confused how this problem started occurring. If a game is based on blocks, it is not automatically a ripoff of Minecraft. I mean, for Survivalcraft, it is quite understandable. I mean, it's based on blocks, Minecraft is based on blocks. I can see the confusion, but yeah, it still doesn't make sense that I had the same problem with Terraria. How come any game that looks slightly blocky be a reference to Minecraft? I mean, Terraria is not even about blocks, it's about pixels, so yeah, I am just confused concerning these matters, and I will address this problem for people still thinking that Survivalcraft is indeed a ripoff. And yeah, of course, I'm not again insulting Minecraft or showing hate to it, but only speaking about the toxic part of Minecraft's community. And by the way, just a quick note, Survivalcraft was actually inspired by Minecraft, but it is not a ripoff. It does mention that it has been inspired by Minecraft, so at least give it credits for that. But then again, to make it simpler, here's a list of the differences between Minecraft and Survivalcraft. I'll try to mention as much as I can. Now, generally, Minecraft focuses on a fantasy color world with zombies, creepers, skeletons, and many more mobs, while Survivalcraft focuses on the real aspects of life. By that, I mean wild animals. This game is literally littered with animals. As soon as you spawn into the world, you can hear the chirps of birds and the life forms around you. and of course most of them are not friendly. In my opinion, Survivalcraft is better for the simple reason of it having a larger variety of animals, and I do understand why Minecraft would mostly involve the monsters, but come on now, they could add a little more animals to it. Something else that is worth noting though is also the variation of tools between these two games. Minecraft have its 5 basic tools which you can craft with different material, while Survivalcraft has a lot of the same tools but also includes many more, such as the spears, gun, stone axe, hammers, and etc. In Minecraft, you feel like a fighter facing the horde of monsters in your way. While in Survivalcraft, you will act as a hunter trying to survive by all means possible. Not only are the tools different, but the armors also act differently. In Minecraft, if you wear armor, it acts as a damage absorption, meaning that you will still take damage, but depending on the level of the armor, you'll only receive about a quarter or half of the damage. And yeah, Survivalcraft, not only does the armor reduce damage taken thingy, but they also block incoming attacks. Sure, it sometimes doesn't block the damage, but it mostly depends on the level of your armor. For example, an armor made up of sticks and strings will of course not block as much as a diamond or iron armor could. Then again though, don't try dropping off a cliff with diamond armor, as it will absolutely not block your full damage. Another quite interesting thing to note is that in Survivalcraft the armors does wear out over time even if you are not taking damage. It is a bit more annoying, but it makes it a bit more unique in its own way, as in Minecraft your armor will never break unless you are fighting and taking damage. But they do break from you taking full damage or other ways you can injure yourself, so just beware of that. Now, moving on from the fighting aspect of this game, let's talk about surviving itself. Now, when it comes to getting food in these two games, they almost have the same patterns of getting it. Killing animals equals food, or planting equals food. The thing is to be noted though is that Minecraft has a lot more variety of food. For example, we have steak, mutton, rabbit meat, soup, pumpkin pie, and cake. For the vegans, we have melon, carrots, potatoes, bread, beetroot, and the mushroom soup. Now, in Survivalcraft 2, we only have 5 to 6 kinds of food. Yes, only 5 to 6 because I don't know why, to be honest, I can't really defend them, but those are meat, bread, the bird meat, fish, and pumpkins. I can't seriously defend Survivalcraft on that, as we truly are lacking in varieties. Fortunately though, Survivalcraft does have quite a redeeming mechanic. Due to this game having a very large variety of animals, each animal have their amount of meat they give. For example, a bull is gonna give you twice as much of what a boar could ever give you. Most importantly though is that when you're hunting, the animals retaliate. If you get too close to them or attack them, they may try to end your life, but like I said in Minecraft though, they just kinda run. Yeah, they just run away. Another thing is that food rots in Survivalcraft. Almost every food rots in the game, which obviously is annoying, but it does make the game harder than Minecraft. And Minecraft's food never goes bad. It's like plastic. It won't decay for like 450 years or some shit, but legit, you can put a piece of meat in a chest and come back later after 69 years. The meat stored will still be fresh and still consumable. Pretty weird in my opinion, but rather helpful. When it comes to crops though, they also do rot in Survivalcraft and don't in Minecraft. But like I said before, Survivalcraft lacks a lot in this aspect. Like come on now, add a few more vegetations like perhaps wild berries, mushrooms, and maybe nuts, you never know. Now if I have to compare between Minecraft and Survivalcraft, I would say that Minecraft doesn't focus as much as they could on the animals. And by the way, I'm not mentioning the updates incoming that Minecraft are introducing so far, so please bear that in mind. For Survivalcraft though, they don't give enough importance on the harvesting side of the game. With everything said so far though, I would say that Survivalcraft takes the cake when it comes to truly trying to survive, while Minecraft wins with a variety of things you are able to do and continue playing even after you complete the game. Like Survivalcraft doesn't even have a story mode or nothing, it kinda just, yeah, you just kinda have to survive. So yes, Minecraft is way better when it comes to the story based and the objectives that you can do, but Survivalcraft is better in the surviving aspect. Now let's talk about what is actually good about Survivalcraft. I will have to come clean about a few things that truly fascinated me in Survivalcraft. Let's start off with the audio quality of the game. Let me be clear though, I am not speaking about the bass, the sounds and themes, I am actually just speaking about the in-game ambiences only. Now, as soon as you spawn into the game, you'll already start hearing the chirps of the birds and the cries of other wild animals found nearby. For some people, they may find it bothersome or annoying, but for me, it acts as a warning, as if there are any predators nearby, you will be able to hear their roars, and to me, that's a huge thing, as you can be prepared for what's to come. And if you're searching for a source of water underground, you'll be easily informed by the noises of flowing water. It may also help if one is searching for a specific animal, such as cows or horses. Now, this may sound a bit out of context, but I would say that the rain in this game is really relaxing to listen to. Like, I could literally sleep while listening to it. And yeah, sometimes you just have to step back a little and listen to the rain. Trust me, it's very enjoyable. But moving on, the cool thing also is that almost every block you step on have a different sound effect. Though the planks one have kind of a weird sound effect. I mean, I don't mind it too much, but it's still either way kind of weird. And if you ever get wet in the game, your character will start making different noises and sounds while you walk around. Pretty neat, I would say. If you're aiming with a bow for too long, your character will make a groan to indicate and warn you that your accuracy is decreasing. If you're starting to feel tired, your character will start panting until you take a rest. Now, it is quite annoying when you're panting, so yeah, just stop for a sec, please. Now, of course, there's a lot more to talk about, but yeah, there's just too much actually. So let's move on, and overall, I would say that the game has pretty great sound effects and are pretty helpful in my opinion. Now, let's talk about something that a lot of people expect to be good in a game. Obviously, the graphics. In Survivalcraft, the forests are very well made, as just by walking in one you'll notice a lot of different plants, plenty of grass, vines, trees and fallen trees. Some of the other biomes also have some cool aspects to them. One of my own favorites are the deserts and the snow biomes. The deserts are very barren with almost no plants, except for cactuses and dried up bushes. Of course, they also have their own type of animals and trees. Oh yeah, also it doesn't rain in the deserts, which is rather neat. Now, the snow biomes are breathtaking. They look amazing with large and medium-sized pine trees, including the fallen ones. And when it rains, snowflakes starts falling, making the environment more unique in itself. And any water in this biome are mostly ice, but you can spot some which not have been turned into ice just yet. The animals in this area also yield a lot of meat, which is nice and all, but hey, not all of them are gonna run. So just beware of that, will ya? Now, the plain zones are not bad either, with tons of grass and a small amount of trees, though they do contain a lot of animals, prey and predators, which can be good or bad. Now, the mountains are not bad either. Some are big, while others are huge. They also house a lot of coal, which is pretty nice in my opinion. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that a lot of predators like mountains. So, yeah, be prepared for that, as the fall won't be pleasant at all, trust me. There's not really a lot to speak about caves though, so yeah, they are really dark with useful resources, but they act as shelter for bears and other animals. Yeah, I don't like caves in this game, and anything could jump scare you down there, so yeah, fuck this. Now, the oceans are trash. They only have seaweed and the same starfish and urchins here and there, but that's literally it. It's quite a shame, as we have so much aquatic life, sharks, orcas, belugas, so much thing, but so little details on it, so yeah, it kinda sucks. But then again, I don't understand why, because swimming in this game kinda sucks. Like, when you're actually diving down, you don't even know when you're going to drown. There's no indication at all. What the hell, man? At least put some bubbles to actually show us if we're drowning or not. But overall, I would say Survivalcraft is not bad when it comes to graphics, but some biomes have been given more importance than others, and that's a fact. You can just walk around and you see what I mean. There's also details on weapons and tools, but that's just too much to talk about, so let's move on. Now, what could be more important than the graphics? You guessed it right, let's talk about the gameplay. It is top notch in this game. Just the fact that the game is based on realistic features amazes me. Hunting in this game is satisfying as hell. The variety of weapons and arsenal you have at your disposal is high tier. Bows, spears, clubs, machetes, and guns. There are also other ways to kill, like going in water to slow down animals, traps, TNT, and building columns to get the high grounds. The animals also have different stats. Some jump higher, some run fast as hell, some attack in packs, and some are just powerhouses. So you have to plan before you try to take them down. So basically, the more you play, the more you understand, just like how real life works. The clothing in this game also have purposes. Some provide warmth, some provide more defense, and some are cheap to make but useful. Even shoes have a purpose. They make you run and walk faster. In this game, you can actually get sick, and temperature is a thing. You can get the flu and other freezing effects, which are pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But I suggest you avoid that because I don't think that's something that you should be getting when you're playing. But anyway, the mining for this game can be a bit tedious, sure, but hey, it's not easy to get ores. Well, unless you find a cave. You want diamonds? It's not easy to mine, you say? Well, don't worry, cause in a full moon you can kill werewolves and you may get some diamonds, but of course you have to be at a certain level to craft anything with it. I would say if you want to actually try and survive using only your knowledge, then this game is for you. Challenge is too easy? Then try cruel mode, only for the masters of this game. Now, everything comes with its pros and cons, so let's talk about what's bad about Survivalcraft. Survivalcraft, I would say, has a lot of things that could easily be fixed, but are not being fixed. One of the things that I actually hate in the game is the fact that you miss too much when you're fighting. The thing is not even 5 cm away from me. How am I missing my attacks? I can understand if I am a bit far away from the animal, but when I am at this distance, I shouldn't be missing. I may have a wrong assumption here, but I think if you have higher tier weapons, you are less likely to miss. Imagine if that applied to bows. Yeah, I prefer not to think about that. Another thing that is weird about the game, and weapons actually, is that if you click on the ground with any weapon you have in your inventory, it apparently reduces its durability. Which is reasonable to be honest, but I would say is unnecessary. Now, the rock's durability in this game is way too weak, as you can only tie like 12 blocks before it breaks. You may ask though, why don't you make an iron hoe? Well, why the fuck would I waste my iron on a hoe? Come on guys, you won't get anywhere hoeing like that. Also, when you tile a grass block, it only removes the grass. Then, you can actually tile the block itself for real. So yeah, it should just straight up tile the block as it's not really necessary and you're wasting durability. It already has low durability, so just why? Now this next point might be a double-edged sword, as water in this game can be a foe or an ally. If you're hunting, luring an animal into water might be a great maneuver, as water slows down animals and makes them more vulnerable to knockback. And of course, aquatic life forms are not affected whatsoever. I mean, yeah, they are aquatic life forms. When you go into water though, you instantly become wet, which is rather bad depending on your location. And yeah, temperature is a thing like I mentioned previously. Well, not just that, but getting off onto the land from the water is quite a pain in the ass. You have to stand still, then jump to get back on land. Yeah, that kinda sucks, not gonna lie. Previously, I did say that the audio was amazing. Well, it is, but when there are like 25 wolves whining, yeah, sometimes the game keeps on spawning wolves for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Another thing that is quite weird is that sharks, orcas, piranhas, and etc. are immune to knockback in water. I mean, yeah, they are sharks, I know, but come on now, man, at least you can farm them and get unlimited food, which is not bad, I would say. The next point may just be my opinion, but almost all the animals have the same stats and patterns. They at least made some with slightly different mechanics and stats, but I don't think it looks quite different or does make any more difference to the game. So yeah, they're basically copy pasting an animal and changing the color and description. That's literally it. Now, what I really hate about the game is the multiplayer side of Survivalcraft. You can't play from 2 different devices. What the fuck, dude? And what the fuck is that? How do I play like this on one phone? I would understand that before multiplayer was quite rare among these games, but come on now. By now, it should have added servers or multiplayer from different devices. I would say that if I wanted to play alone and a hard game, I would go for Survivalcraft. But if I want to relax and play with my friends, I would have to go for Minecraft. It is fair, and if you guys have different opinions, you can always comment down below. Now let's see how we may improve the game itself. Now I would personally say that this game can truly become a great game. I mean, it already is, but I think if some features were to be added, it may improve the game even more. Furthermore, it would just be a great addition to the game itself. First off, I would suggest that they add more crops for us to grow. Like I mentioned before, maybe wild berries, nuts, or perhaps mushrooms can be added. We could also try to get more variety of food like pumpkin pie. I mean, we do have pumpkin soup, but I don't care about that, as you can only eat pumpkins raw. Yeah, that sucks. Maybe cooked eggs or fried eggs. I mean, eggs in this game are only used as bird spawners, and maybe for food, it is quite risky to try and eat one, which is pretty raw. Also, let small birds give like meat morsels or something, cause yeah, rotten meat doesn't really make sense. I mean, what we could do is, in cruel mode, small birds give rotten meat, but in challenging, they give morsels that fills up a small amount of hunger. Wait, imagine if we could make bandages out of cotton. Not a bad idea either, as we don't have healing items in this game. Why actually? I don't even know. Now, I think that the height of which you jump to take fall damage should increase, because yeah, from this height, I'm not sure I could die from this. Yeah, doesn't make sense, but at least make it 3 or 5 blocks higher, because ain't no way I'm dying from this height alone. I mean, maybe a few broken angles, but hey, that's literally it. So swimming in this game should be a bit better, as when you swim, you can't really move forward, you're just going up and down. Yeah, literally like a yo-yo, I'm not gonna lie. Now, the hoe should be able to tile soil even when there's grass on it, and probably make its drawability at least 10 blocks more. I mean, it's pretty reasonable, I'm not gonna lie. Now, about the missing problem. If they could make it that, depending on the difficulty of your world, your attacks are more likely to miss, could be the play here, or depending on the tire of the weapon, you will miss more frequently. And I think that's all. Is that all? Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, that's all the problems I had, but if you guys have any more things to say or to complain about, just comment down below, as I'll be reading them and replying. Also, yeah, don't forget to leave a like if you like the video so far. Now we've reached the end of this video. Now, yes, that is all I really had to say for this wonderful game known as Survivalcraft. So yeah, if you guys have anything to say, or if you have any more opinions, you guys can still go to the comments and comment down what you guys want. And yeah, that's all for today. I'll wrap things up, so hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.